Okay, so I'm 7.5 minutes into my show. No, into my run, sorry. Why do I always have to correct every single error right from the get-go? I guess it's... Whoops. Just dropped my glasses. I guess it's just the way I am. I'm going to be recording on my phone. As you know, my computer and documents were stolen on our arrival here in Lisbon. So I've had to deal with that. It wasn't terribly onerous, I must admit. We managed pretty well. I'm going to check now if I'm still recording. Excuse the rustling of the bag. Looks like it. Now I have to check that the app is still running. Yep, 9 minutes into my run. Alright, I hope the levels are okay for you guys. I really can't guarantee anything today. Okay, wish me luck. Norma and I are running the park again like we did yesterday. It is all about the running. Let's face it. That's what we're here for.
Distance 0.99 kilometers. Workout average pace 10 minutes 7 seconds per kilometer.
So, you heard what she said. I heard what she said. That's 10 minutes into the run. As I come up behind Norma, she's walking this section, and I am too. Today is Wednesday. She's off. This is still an uphill. The way that this works for us here is that there is a park with a green, ornamental, formal garden down the middle, and two parallel paths with that famous Portuguese mosaic pavement, I will call it. It is paved, after all, for pedestrians. I'll start running again. But it is a ramp of about, I don't know, maybe 10 degrees. Up, turn, then down. Turn, then up. Turn, and repeat. Hello, Norma. How you doing? Good. She's walking, and I am running. So this
2
will
minutes
continue.
44 seconds behind.
So, there was a runner coming down. He'd done 6 kilometers. I just heard his girl talking to him from his arm. Just a little bit of a walk here. As I take the top, I'll start to go flat and then down. As you can hear, we're quite close to the airport. That's one of the criticisms of Barcelona. Not Barcelona, Lisbon. And the airport is very close to the city centre. So the planes have barely got their wheels up by the time they fly over here. That's a bit of a flea market at the top, selling Portuguese lace and souvenirs. So I've taken the top turn and now have about 300 meters of down. At the beginning we were kind of confused about these mosaic cobblestones about the size of a book of matches, wondering why they weren't using larger slabs of concrete or asphalt. But in a way, it looks a bit like snakeskin. And because they're all small tiles embedded in sand, they're flexible, so the tree roots just make the cobblestones bulge. So they don't really have to do a lot of replacement. All they need is a craftsman with a little hammer, an apprentice with a rake, and a bucket of sand, and they're good to go. They can repair any pavement in Portugal, basically, with that basic equipment. It's a bit like the way the Russians and the Americans
2 minutes,
dealt
33 seconds behind.
with the same...
Distance 1.65 kilometers. Workout average pace 9 minutes, 2 seconds per kilometer.
the same issue of weightlessness in space. And the Americans designed a special high-tech ballpoint pen with a pump to help propel the ink the ink to the ball so that it could write in weightlessness, in the weightless conditions of space. The Russians issued their astronauts with a pencil. Same thing. Everybody is designing different kinds of paving stone that will tolerate freezing, tree roots, changing weather conditions. Hola! The same guy, the same spot, same dog. That little dog barked at me. He's going to see me 3 or 4 times today. But I already chatted with his dad. This crazy paving accommodates all those things. The tree roots, the pavement flexes. As the tree gets bigger, the pavement flexes some more. I'm now at the bottom corner of this square park. They're preparing a few stages here for some event that they're going to be putting on shortly. It might well be for Christmas, but it's still in November, I believe. Okay, bottom corner turn, and we start to climb. At least I do. You are climbing virtually with me. Norma and I noticed that the first section of this climb is a little bit steeper than the next section. But because they've built these artificial stages for the event that they're going to be putting on, they've had to angle them to accommodate the ramp that I'm running up.
15 seconds behind.
So I'm going to take a picture of the two stages that they've built here for whatever spectacle they're going to be putting on. I guess I could ask them. I'm not sure if these guys will speak English. I'm pretty sure they will. There's a young man there grabbing his lunch. I will be asking him what's going on in a second. Bom dia. What is this for? All these stages?
Evento de Natal.
Christmas.
Christmas.
Festivities. Fiesta de Navidad.
Ferris wheel.
Oh, Ferris wheel.
Sí.
Okay. It's interesting how you've had to angle.
Pista de patinage.
Skating?
Skate.
Skating, is that what that is up there? You've had to make it flat.
Ahí y
Yeah, so there's a bit of a skating rink there. But it's interesting how you've had to angle it because of the hill. What angle is this?
yeah.
What ángulo? ¿Qué ángulo es? ¿15 grados?
Este plano.
¿Plano?
Yeah.
Sí, pero
No sé grado, no sé grado.
no sé grado. Okay, you speak Spanish as well, eh? Spanish, English and Portuguese.
Hablo portugués e inglés.
Y español.
Inglés.
Yo español, inglés, francés y un poco español.
Sí, hablo español.
Bueno.
Distance 2.16 kilometers. Workout average pace 8 minutes 41
Sí.
seconds per kilometer.
Okay.
Time
Yo
for
estoy
hydration.
en pleno curso para correr.
Muy
Tengo
bien.
que continuar. Hasta luego. There you go. I'm going to take a picture now, as I was going to then. I'm such a lazy runner. Hang on. So now I can tell Norma what it's all about. There goes an EasyJet plane off to Gatwick, I would imagine.
4 minutes 16 seconds behind.
I heard an announcement there. It was either a hydration reminder or halfway to my goal. All right, enough of this goofing off. Back to the run. As I was saying, it is all about the run. That will be the name of this episode. It's all about the run. Well, this park is interesting because with these two parallel tracks with adjoining paths in between, I can keep an eye on Norma almost the entire way. She is above me once again as I run up the hill. She's walking. This is exactly the same spot where I bumped into her on the first loop. I have to keep running a little bit more if I want to talk to her. Hello. I found out what this,
Concert is?
it's Christmas festivities.
Really.
Yeah. They're going to have a giant Ferris wheel at the end. And those platforms are for skating, roller skating. That's why they have to be flat. I asked him what angle it was. He didn't know. But he spoke Spanish. He said, yeah. Him? He spoke a little English.
Oh, you were talking in English.
I started, and then when he realized I was answering him in Spanish, he switched. Did you see the EasyJet plane just go by? All right, bye-bye. So, I'm up at the top again, just about to take the second turn. When I took the picture, I noticed that the voice recorder was still going.
Four minutes, 26 seconds behind.
4 minutes behind. If I don't stop to talk, I should be able to make that time up. This place is setting up now with the bicycle rentals. We saw these guys yesterday. They have a transit van and a trailer where they store their bikes. Sounds like a good business to me. So this is the easy part, running downhill. I'm paranoid about pushing the volume control down too much, but
Distance 2.77 kilometers. Workout average pace 9 minutes 2 seconds per kilometer.
as long as I can hear her, I'm pretty sure that the recorder is picking up her volume internally. And I have her volume set at about half, and her speed set at about half. This morning, I listened to the Extra Mile podcast, and I heard JD suggesting that we all submitted photographs for a calendar. It's a very good idea, JD. Excellent idée, as they would say in French. I'm sure I could spare a picture or two, but I believe it's going to be juried, which is an interesting concept. Something that I haven't really managed to master on Facebook. I guess you could set it up as a poll of some sort, voting for a picture. Or Kevin could also compile it from his comments. Just going past the policeman that I said hi to, Bom dia, earlier on. And I'll probably see the little dog again. Him and his friend are always here. At least for the last 3 times we've been here. Once walking and now twice running. The policemen here
3 minutes 44 seconds behind.
are pretty good. They keep an eye on what's going on, and they don't seem to have any serious crime to deal with other than tourists having their luggage stolen. But they know how to get information from the street. I'm sure they must have some paid snitches because unless you listen to my other podcast, Your 5 Minutes, you haven't really grasped all the details of what happened. Within an hour of being here, we locked up our Airbnb and went for an exploratory walk to see the neighborhood. By the time we got back, somebody had entered our room and taken my laptop, Norma's iPad, our passports, most of our cash, and Norma's makeup, sunglasses. They used her second bag to take away the loot, so she lost a fair amount of clothing, which I'm sure he would have dumped in the first dumpster at the first opportunity. But we had to go and do the embassy tour, the Canadian and the British, to get our travel documents renewed, emergency travel documents we needed, which fortunately we achieved. But I don't blame the Portuguese. They might well have been Russian mafia, who knows, but there were no signs of breaking and entering, which makes me think that it was either an inside job or that they had a key. But if you think about it, that is probably one of the easiest crimes to commit. You rent an Airbnb for 2 nights. They give you a set of keys. You make a copy. You say, "Thank you, wonderful stay," give them a rave review, and move on. That's it for him. His next
4
guest...
minutes behind. Distance 3.46 kilometers. Workout average pace 8 minutes 39 seconds per kilometer. Halfway to your goal.
Halfway. His next guests, even if they double bolt their doors, that will not stop somebody from sitting across the road in a car looking for tourists. When they arrive, he watches them come in, he watches the bags go in, he watches them go out for their little jog or their little exploratory walk. There goes another plane. And then, as calm as a cucumber, be it a Slavonic cucumber, who knows? With the EU, they could have come from anywhere to commit these crimes. They go in with their key. They assume you're not going to be back within half an hour. And they take whatever they want. And then at the first dumpster, they get rid of whatever they don't need, like Norma's makeup, her sunglasses, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, we did go to the police, and we have a formal police report, so there might be some insurance to claim back, but there's no guarantee there. The other thing is that I had to sign a solemn declaration at the consulate claiming that my permanent residence card was also stolen and that they would have to issue me with emergency documentation. Otherwise, I would be stuck in the airport, not being able to enter Canada. Anyway, hopefully my next podcast won't be from a jail cell in Calgary, Immigration Detention Center. I'm hoping that we're okay for that. But we have tried our darndest with late night pecking away at my iPhone, trying to fill in encrypted documents with 4 or 5 security questions that had to be answered on 2 forms to prove our authenticity. Anyway, I don't want this podcast to be a rant about crime in a European city that has treated us really, really, really well. Even our interactions with the cops have been pleasant.
4 minutes,
Everybody
58
here
seconds behind.
speaks either French, Spanish, or Portuguese. So there's no problem there. But seeing as there could be a set of keys floating around, every time I'll let that plane go by. That's what I was saying on the second lap about the planes. Every time we go out now, we're carrying our remaining euros and our passports just so that they don't just come back. Because I was saying to Norma, what if he thinks, well, they're hardly going to spend the rest of their holiday with no money. Let's go back and see if they've left any more cash for us. Yeah. But that's the news on the street. Just about to make the top turn and head down again towards the policeman. The younger one of the 2 policemen was smoking a vaporizer. There was this huge cloud of vapor coming off against the sun, the morning sun, shining up the boulevard, I should call this place, as I run past the cycle rental for the 3rd time. I'm going to do one more lap and hook up with Norma and head back. Bon dia. I'm now going over the lumps and
Distance
bumps.
3.95 kilometers. Workout average pace 8 minutes 51 seconds per kilometer.
Oh man, those walk breaks are really costing my pace. I thought that I could set a 7:30 pace and I would easily be able to maintain it. But with the format of this park, almost half of the 300 or so meters is steep enough uphill for me not to be able to carry out a comfortable conversation. So conversation pace is not set in stone. It really depends on the topography of the run. If there's lots of uphills, you're going to have to slow down considerably if you want to talk. What with the talking criteria and my little 67-year-old heart, I have to be quite careful not to push the limits too much. Running past the angled stages. There's one on the path itself, and there's the huge one in the middle, which they've angled and of which I have taken a photograph, which will be the skating rink. There's going to be a big Ferris wheel at the bottom, running past the vaporizing cops. Yep. They're here almost like ambassadors of the city for the tourists. It's probably quite a sought-after job to be a police officer here in Lisbon. Mind you, in the summer, their work would be much, much more hectic, because there would be many, many more tourists to be ambassador for. I'm pretty sure they would all speak enough English to give you directions. Just smelt marijuana for the second time here. I believe the Portuguese harm reduction drug control is almost world famous. They have a pretty tolerant approach to hard drugs, thinking of them as a medical issue, not a criminal issue. But I was quite amazed when a young man came up to us yesterday and asked us if we wanted to buy marijuana in the street on a square where there are police almost everywhere. I think they would probably be more concerned with aggressive panhandlers than low-level pot dealers. I'm going to check in a second how many minutes I have recorded, and I might well just say goodbye to you then. I'm pretty sure I must be getting quite close to my limit of 36 minutes. Let me just see. Excuse the
4 minutes,
rustling.
25 seconds behind.
Excuse the rustling as I get the phone out to look at my stats. So the voice recorder is turning. I have 32 minutes of continuous recording, so I have 4 more minutes to talk to you, which will take me back to the bicycle rental place once again, and then I will put this thing away and continue. So 39 minutes of
4.67 kilometers. Workout average pace 8 minutes 32 seconds per kilometer. Time for hydration.
40 minutes. That was the 40 minutes of run time. And I now have about 3 minutes more of talk time as I put this thing back in its pouch. I have to be very careful not to squeeze the side of the phone, because that is where the volume settings are. I don't think it'll change the run keeper settings or the record level settings, but I don't want to risk it. So far, so good. I will knuckle down now and finish the run. As yet another plane takes off. The wheels are up, but it is still angled to the sky, and you can tell from the sound that it is quite low. My little heart is taking quite a beating, but I am listening to it, and I'm being cautious because I don't have my heart rate monitor.
5 minutes 13 seconds behind.
I don't have my heart rate monitor to keep track of my heart rate, so I have to err on the side of safety. This is where it levels off a little bit. As I was saying to Ellen yesterday, if you listen to your heart, and if you run the flats and downs with a moderate effort level, any distance is doable. The problem with graduating from the short distance marathon and below effort is the most important factor for improvement of your time. But for any of the ultra marathon events, survival is the only criteria. If you looked at all the survivors of ultramarathons, the demographic that does best in terms of surviving in the highest numbers are middle-aged to old, slightly overweight runners. And if you break it down still further to the demographic of male and female, of that particular group, the ones that survive the best are women. So as I go by the bicycle rental place for the last time, I will say bye-bye from Lisbon. Tomorrow we fly to Gatwick to spend a few days with my younger brother Pablo and his wife in Sussex. So this is the Running Jackal signing off, once again remembering that it's all about the run. (37:26). Bye-bye.